and Rick's Reviews. If you were watching KGET Plus earlier this week, Rick and I do a segment called Check Your Schedule.
Right.
So much fun. We talk about all of the things happening around town for the week and then the TV shows and movies that are new. So we've already talked about this one.
Yep.
Now you've seen it.
Now
so we
I've seen
went
it.
from preview to review. What do you think?
Well, I liked it.
Okay.
Let's start with that. The Roses is based on the book, The War of the Roses, and the movie that starred Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner from before you were born. It stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman as a couple who they have a meet cute, fall in love, start a family, have a life together. And in the book and in the original movie, from the very beginning, they were that marriage was not going well, and it built into a very murderous ending. The problem I have with the movie, the new movie, The Roses, is the fact that it was directed by Jay Roach, who did the Austin Power movies.
Okay.
And so he had a tendency not to have the slow build that we had in the original book and the original movie. But we sort of go along. We see them sort of sniping at each other and having trouble along the way, but nothing more than any married couple would have. But then suddenly we hit a point in the movie about the last act where we run into a wall and it becomes a nuclear war between the two. So there's this real switch. Part of that probably could be the fact that it has a great casting, but always maybe a wrong casting.
Yeah.
I mean, Cumberbatch and Coleman are two of the best actors working today.
Yes.
You want to have them in your movie. But the problem is they're both British. And there's something about the British sniping at each other, just sounds a little formal, a little prim, so it doesn't come across. Look, when Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas were yapping at each other, you felt the venom. You knew these people just had begun to really hate each other. This always feels like they're just sort of, oh, sir, I just no longer love you. You don't get that feeling of that this thing is falling apart. That we need when we get to the last act, because again, in the last act, these two really do try to kill each other over this. So I like I love the casting. These are two wonderful actors to get to watch. I think Jay Roach was the wrong director because he tends to lean more toward comedy than he does toward the drama. And we needed somebody who could build rather than sort of go on a straight line and then just sort of skyrocket into this event. So it's worth seeing. It gets a B- for me. But I do think the original film and the book are much better.
Okay. So with that, I always ask you, is this worth seeing in theaters? Like when we have a big action movie, I'm like, I need to see that on the big screen.
No.
Is this one we could wait for streaming?
Wait for streaming, wait for, yeah. He builds a dream house in it that looks nice on the big screen, but that's not worth paying a ticket to see. I would just definitely wait. It's one of those kind of, you can sit at home, watch as a couple and realize that your marriage isn't as bad as theirs.
There you go, a little